Hi, my name is Paul Vanderklam. I'm the pastor of Livingstone's Church, and I do a number of these little videos to talk about the Bible, talk about theology, just do some ongoing education for myself, for my congregation, for my friends, and anyone else who follows me on YouTube or Twitter or Facebook. I want to do some videos about one of my favorite books, C.S. Lewis's book, Miracles. Now, this is a book that I read probably for the first time seriously about 2 years ago. And I'm reading it again now, and it's probably my fourth time going through it. One of the things that I learned listening to a philosopher named Peter Kreeft, who has some lectures on the internet, some lectures on some of C.S. Lewis's books, is that Peter Kreeft noted that when he reads C.S. Lewis's books, often the second time or the third time, he gets a lot more out of them than he did the first time. And in fact, the books get better the more times he reads them. And that's been exactly my experience with C.S. Lewis and exactly my experience with this book. Part of the reason that I've returned to this book is because this question of what is nature and what is our relationship with nature is so deeply ingrained in so many of the issues that we face today. For example, the issue of climate change. One of the questions that we have is, to what degree is climate change induced by human beings? Well, if you assume that all human beings are products of nature, then in fact what human beings are doing to the climate by pumping all kinds of CO2 into the atmosphere is in fact completely natural because we are part of the system of nature. Now, most of the time when we use that word nature, we don't use it that way. This morning when I got to my office, I found a bucket full of water and some laundry detergent outside my office door. Those of you who are friends with me on Facebook, and if you want to be my friend on Facebook, please send me an invite or a little note, and I'll gladly friend you. One of the things I know that when I walk to my office and I find a bucket full of water with laundry detergent next to my door is that this isn't natural. Some human being came along and put that bucket there. So what are we talking about when we talk about the word nature or natural? Well, C.S. Lewis begins the book by saying, part of our difficulty is that we use this word in so many different ways. And these are some of the examples he uses that I've edited a little bit. Are those your natural teeth? As you can see, I'm increasingly bald. And so if I decided I didn't like being bald and wanted to get a toupee and wear a rug, suddenly if I showed up with all of this luxurious hair on the top of my head, someone would say, is that your natural hair? Now, what do they mean by that? Well, they mean, does it grow without human interference? Now, again, as I say the question that way, you get a little sense of the trickiness of this word. Are those your natural teeth? Is that your natural hair? Is that your natural hair color? The dog in his natural state is covered with fleas. So in other words, the dog, apart from human interaction, is covered with fleas. Now, this gets even deeper into it. I'm also reading a book called Guns, Germs, and Steel that would basically assert that there's no such thing as a dog without human nature. There are wolves, there are foxes, but dogs are really created by us. Now, you might say the wolf in his natural state is covered with fleas, and that might be a little bit more realistic in terms of nature. I love to get into nature. This is a way we use it all the time. But even the way we ask that question, we begin to say, and assume I am apart from nature. I am distant from nature. And in fact, part of the reason people love going to nature, one of my favorite places to go is Yosemite National Park, is we get the sense when we go into nature that I somehow fit in this. And this gives me a sense of well-being and restoration and recreation. Another one of C.S. Lewis's, do be natural, why are you so affected? Now, that's not a very... That's nothing that an American would say. We might sometimes substitute the word real in for nature. Do be real. Why are you so emotional? Which kind of says that your authentic, here's another word that we're going to have to talk about, your authentic self should be calm and predisposed and in control. But even this sense of control gets into this question of what is nature, what is natural, and how do we stand with respect to it? The fifth one, it may have been wrong to kiss her, but it was natural. Now, this again is something that very much connects with a lot of our conversations about sexuality. It is very natural for people to have sexual desires, romantic desires, emotional desires, and if in fact we have no impulse control and we act on every desire that we experience, it is in fact natural to do all kinds of things which we believe as a society or as moral human beings we ought not to do because of the matrix of relationships around us. But that is in fact fully natural. So as we get into this book and as we get into this conversation about nature, we're going to have to come to terms with what is nature? How do we relate to her? What does it mean? How are we in fact natural and how are we in fact unnatural at all in the sense that we believe what we are doing to the climate is wrong? That what we are doing to the climate is unnatural, what does it mean that we have the power to intervene in a process whereby we radically change the course of, let's say, of Earth's climate in a rapid way, and we do this, and we call it unnatural, unhealthy, immoral, etc. I want to keep these videos short, so I'm going to close this one here, but I'm going to continue to talk about this in my subsequent videos. So thanks for watching. Leave me a comment and let me know what you think.